Hello strummers, we're back. I've really been looking forward to doing this video. The first one just seemed to be pretty popular. I had some really nice comments, some really good feedback, so thank you for that. I've been looking forward to doing this second one. I've pulled my strumming video t-shirt out of the wash and let's do this. Today I'm just going to put in little segments, some helpful tips that aren't necessarily advanced but will really help you with where you're at now. Some tips on how to get there with singing as well as playing guitar, and some tips on just how to pro up your strumming. So if you haven't watched the first video, I really recommend it because this is a step on from that. So I'll put the description in the link. Go and have a look and just watch that video. Make sure you understand it all really well. And then come back here. We're going to do some pro tips. We're going to take your strumming to the next level. It's going to be good. Okay, this first one is a helpful hint rather than a pro tip, but it's going to get you around a common problem. Now, let's think of the strum, one of the strums we did in the last lesson, where it's like... If you remember that. Now, I bet you get to a point where a lot of people do, where they're going like this. It's that jump. You've done the last little upstroke and you suddenly have to jump to the next chord without leaving any sort of gap. Okay, this is where your open strings are your best friend. When you're playing open chords, might be a different story if you're up here playing bar chords in A flat or something, but when you're playing open strings like this, when you do that last little upstroke, when you're about to change chords, let your fingers off and do that last upstroke on the open strings so that your fingers are ready to go into the next chord. Let me demonstrate slowly and stupidly so you get the idea. See that? So I'm doing it really purposefully here so you can see it. But when you're going to change chords, on that last little 8th note, or maybe it's 16th, that last little upstroke, just straight to the open string. So you've got that gap to be able to come down on the next chord like that. Now, when I say straight to the open strings, you don't purposely make them try and resonate out. You don't go like that. That sounds pretty stupid. But you just let them lightly and smoothly get hit, and you'll get this. Hear that? That little light upstroke when I'm hitting the open strings in between as I go to the next chord gives me time to get to that next chord in time, but also has a beautiful little advantage. It creates a little spring to each chord. So what I mean is, if you listen carefully, la da 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 da, it sort of springs to the next chord. See how each chord sounds like da 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 rather than da da da. It's like da 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 because you've got those open strings. Like that. So, two advantages there. One is that nice little dynamic of da da da. The other one is the fact that you've now got time to get to the next chord. So practice it slowly. Once again, remembering, don't make the open strings a purposeful hit. Like this, where you're trying to go, yeah, and get everything. Don't do that. It's just a incidental like that. There it is, a helpful tip. Not a pro tip, but a helpful one to help you get to your chords on time. Another helpful hint is when you have a finger that is in the same place for two chords. So for instance, when I play a G, I usually have a D note just there on the B string. You don't have to, you can have the open B, it's still a G chord either way. I usually have that D note there. Now that happens to be the same finger on the same fret for when I play a D. So going from the G to the D, I leave that finger where it is. If you can see, it's like an anchor point to then move the others around. Same thing you probably get with C and F. This C note here on the B string will stay exactly where it is. See that? Doesn't move. There's no need to go like that. So if you have a finger that's common between chords, then just keep it where it is, like a pivot, and leave it so you can move chords around it. Now, going in hand with what I said in the last section, don't purposely take that finger off so you can get the open strings. Leave it where it is, but let the other fingers just come off. Like that. So slowly it's... See, I've taken the other fingers off that up strum, but I've left that one there because it's in exactly the right spot for the next chord. Same if you do C and F. See that? Open strings, but I've left the C there. There you go. That's a quick tip. Alright, after a few little helpful hints to help your chords get along a bit more, I feel like I owe you something fun. And palm muting is fun. We're going to do palm muting. What is palm muting? Well, so far you've been strumming like this. Palm muting is this sort of thing. It's very cool. You'll hear it all the time. I think I mentioned in the past the Smashing Pumpkins song Disarm. You can hear the... You can hear the palm muting in that. There's a lot of stuff. You listen to Blink-182 and stuff, it's all like... this type of thing. So, how to do palm muting. It's not that difficult when you know how to strum. Your strumming pattern doesn't change. So what you do is hit a chord. Let your palm sit on the dots back here, or your bridge or what have you if you're on an electric. Move it forward slightly and strum. It's like, oh. Move it out a bit more. So you're just resting lightly on the strings with your palm like this. You'll find you come out too far and you get rubbish like that. Pull it back. You reach a point where you get a nice blend of the notes muted in with the strum. So now just get a strumming pattern you've been using, like our that type of thing, but do it like this instead. Same strumming pattern. Now obviously I'm not like this. If you're going to palm mute, you've got a pretty limited surface area of strum there. So just stick towards the bass notes and see how far you can. You find if you do everything, it becomes a bit like this. So stick towards the bass notes. If you remember the dynamic lesson we had in the last one about this sort of thing, going from low notes to high notes, you can do that with this, like, or just stick with the lower notes. If you're playing a straightforward rock song, you can even probably just play eighth notes and bypass the up strum. Just all downstrokes. Like that. Now, this is something worth practicing and getting very used to, as is your strum. Because a pro thing to do with this is to mix them up. You get the idea. Don't worry about that yet. We might, pardon me, might deal with that in a future lesson, because that's starting to really get more advanced. But for now, practice your palm muting as well. Just keep your strums. Try it all as downstrokes. And then try your pattern. Like this. What you don't want is this. What you don't want is this. You want to have your palm resting lightly, just far enough out. So put it flat like that, and then just turn it around into a comfortable strum position until you're getting those notes chunk out like that. And next tip is have a listen to the songs you listen to. You can recognize that sound. You'll probably hear that a mile off now. Now that you know what it is. Listen to the songs you listen to. You'll probably hear that chick 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 sound a mile off. So that's palm muting. Is the way you're holding chord shapes preventing you from strumming properly? So, when you learn a chord shape, you might learn a chord like F. And it tells you, don't hit this string, don't hit this string. And so you are starting from here, trying desperately to not hit these two strings like that. Okay. First of all, that will stop you ever getting a good strumming pattern. If you're going from one chord where you're like, and then you have to suddenly get careful to make sure you don't hit the top strings. The pros do not avoid strings like that. What the pros do is they mute strings. So if you look at F, for example, first of all, anytime you don't want this top E to come out, put your thumb up and touch it lightly on the side, so that it's dead. Now you can do a full strum and not have to care about that coming out. With ones like F, where you need the second string killed as well, unless you happen to be doing an F over an A or something like that, the finger that is holding down a note that is closest to it, let it lightly touch the side of the top string. So it too is dead. Thumb killing the top one, second one killed by this finger. The sort of thing you actually try and avoid when you're learning chords in the first place is stopping fingers touching other strings and killing them. You want it to do that. So what you want is dead string, chord, so that you can do your full strum like this. See, I don't have to avoid any string. Another example is C. You realize unless you specifically want to do a C over an E bass, which you're probably not at this point, you have to kill this top string. Thumb just touches lightly, just on the side of the string like that. So you get nothing. Like that. G, there are none. A is one where you want the top string killed, so get the thumb up there. D, same deal. D is a hard one because quite often the A sounds cool in the D. I just leave it in there. Every time I play a D, I have the A in the bass. Sounds cool. But the thumb, killing that. So the purpose of this with strumming is you don't want to be going like this because you have to avoid these strings. That's not what the pro players do. The pro players arrange their hand, their thumb, whatever they have to be muting, which means just lightly touching so the note's dead, the strings that they don't want to come out. So their strum never stops being a big movement like that. So if it's the top string, get the thumb there, just touching lightly like that. If, like in the case of an A, you have to mute the next string as well, then let the finger here, just while it's holding down that note on the D string, let it just lightly touch, doesn't take much, the side of that string, so that now you've got, and then your chord. So you can strum away. That's it. That's how pros do avoiding strings. They don't avoid strings, they mute them when they strum. So that may have been inhibiting you. Hopefully you get past that, so now you can do your full strums without a problem. What is redundant practice and why is it important? The thing with guitar is you learn patterns and things at first, and then it all just sinks in to your innate subconscious, to the point where you're strumming along to a song, you instantly hear the groove of the song, and you can just play. You're not even thinking about down, up, down, any of that. You just naturally play along. Let me show you what I mean by example. I do a lot of gigs where I just play guitar and sing. You know, the guy in the corner that you ask to play Wonderwall 4 or 5 times a night, that's me. When I'm playing the chords to a song and I'm introing, waiting to sing, I'll be thinking like this. Oh, they've redesigned the bar over there. Oh, I think I've seen that guy before. I wonder if someone's going to buy me a beer. That would be really cool. You get the idea. I'm not thinking down, up, down, up, down, down, up, etc., etc. If you want to be able to sing while playing guitar, for instance, the guitar has to become automatic pilot. So when I start singing, I'm just thinking about getting the words right and singing. I'm not even thinking about the guitar. It's like my subconscious has kicked in. This is what I mean by redundant practice. The way to get good is to practice something over and over and over again until it's mind-numbing. So what I mean is like those patterns we were doing. Like that. If you think you've got it pretty good, keep practicing it. Keep practicing it. Groove and what they call feel in music actually kind of comes from redundancy. You start off like this. Like that. Then you practice it so much and so much and so much to the point where you're thinking, do I even need to practice this anymore? The answer is yeah, keep doing it. Because when you get so sick of it and it's so in your subconscious, it'll go from this to this. When you hear someone doing something that sounds smooth and nice, what you're hearing is they are so over it, they're so capable of it, they are just feeling their way around grooving it. They're not thinking about how to do it at all, they're just feeling their way around grooving it. The other thing is you get a set few patterns, you practice them over and over and over until they reach that point. You are teaching your brain to be able to make up rhythm on the spot, which is important because another pro thing to step up to next, which I won't do in this video, but I'll put it in a future one, is changing patterns in the middle of a song to go with the groove. Like that, actually changing what you're doing on chord after chord. Now, you can't get there with that by thinking, I'm doing this pattern, now I'm swapping to that one, now I'm swapping to that one. You need to get your patterns and practice them until they are so instilled in your subconscious. Your brain is learning to create rhythm on the fly. And you will get there. It's just keep going. At the end of this video, I'm going to set up another practice routine and enhance the one we've got from the first video. But the point I want to get across with this is make the patterns you're doing on guitar automatic pilot. When you can play your pattern and have a conversation with someone on the other side of the room, hey, what's for dinner? You can talk like this. You could sing the song if you wanted to. Like, just get that so automatic pilot that you can switch your brain off into subconscious. That's what I mean by redundancy in practice. When you think you've got a good, practice it more. When you think you've got a great, practice it more. Until the point is where you are not thinking at all, you can carry on a conversation. You could watch TV. You could do whatever. This pattern's just going like this. And then get another pattern to do the same. And before you know it, your brain will learn to create rhythm on the fly. You won't be thinking of patterns anymore. You've done so many combinations of down, up, down, all this sort of thing. Your brain just knows what to do to get out what you hear in your head rhythmically. So yeah, redundancy in practice. All right, a new strumming pattern to mess with your brain. But as I mentioned in the last video, every time you mess with your brain and you get good at it, you are teaching your brain to do this stuff on the fly, which is really important. Okay, this strumming pattern. We're into our 16th notes again. Now I'm going to put it up here so you can see exactly what it is. But it's... Remembering, as I harped on about in the first video, I'm sure you can't forget it, how you still do the strums on the strings you miss. But it's... down, down, up, 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 down, down, up. I'll do it really slow. Down, down, up, 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 down, down, up. Now, those 3 upstrokes in a row will mess with your brain, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm not going to say it again, but yes, we're teaching your brain to think for itself with this stuff. So that's a pattern I'm going to throw into the practice routine, and I'm going to cover that practice routine. We're going to extend what you've got already, create this monster routine for you. One more. Now, the purpose of this strumming pattern is to really get your wrist loose and get your surface area of strum fairly small, because there's a lot of strums. Like that. So I'll play it slowly. put it up here. In fact, it should be there right now for you to see. I'll play this really slow actually because there's a lot of strums. Now, what makes this one difficult, you can start off practicing it like we always have, where you miss the strums. But if you listen carefully, a lot of the ones I'm missing, I'm actually hitting the strings, but softer, just to make things harder for you. So practice it like this. Sorry, hang on. Like that. But what I'm actually doing, hear that? I'm actually doing that downstroke, but only hitting towards the top strings. It's hard to do this slow, sorry. So what you will be doing is this. But what I'm actually doing is, hear that? Just hitting like the top string. So I'm not missing any strings in that first bit. Like that. Like that. I'm basically doing every strum, but the ones that previously be missing, I'm hitting just the top string. Hear that? Like that. I'm actually hitting every strum, but instead of missing strings, I'm going between the dynamic of low notes to high notes. So again. Hear that? Now the effect you get when you speed that up is it sounds flowy and nice. So I'm going to chart that up here and put it up for you. Well, I say that now, but it'll already be up there on the screen by the time I post edit this. But that's what that is. Again. So that's pretty advanced. If you can get that down so it's sounding good, then kudos to you. You're doing very well. Okay, stick with that and practice it. This is not my last strumming video, so if that gets a bit too hard for you, that's okay. Do everything up until now and just keep going at it and going at it until you're getting better and better and more automatic. Next, your new practice routine. All right, your new practice routine. Now, firstly, do not rush this stuff. I've got 2 videos up and there's going to be more to come on strumming, but honestly, if you need to just keep watching the first one over and over and over and over again until you get it really good, that's more beneficial than rushing into this second one and now trying to perfect all of that. But if you're getting pretty good with the first one and you're ready for this, then let's set up the new practice routine. Still keep doing what you're doing on the old one. If you've progressed past just going 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and you know that that's way too simple, then ditch that. You've got 4 strumming patterns now to practice. The most important thing is play them slowly until they are smooth, and they are staying smooth every time you play them. Don't speed them up fast. It'll all become a wash. So play them the speed you need to play them at to not only be getting them right, but have them smooth. Almost lazy. You want it to sound like this is too easy for you. It should sound like it's just too easy. I can do that with my eyes closed. I can be talking to someone while I do it. You've got 4 patterns now. Now, the last pattern I gave you is complicated. If you manage to get that down and sounding good, then kudos to you. You're on your way to being a really, really good strummer. But you've got 4 patterns. Practice them until they're all smooth. They're all very contradictory. So the idea behind those 4 patterns is by the time you've got them all subconscious and smooth, your brain should be learning at that point to create rhythm on the fly. It's had enough practice at downs and ups and downs and skipping strings and that sort of thing that you'll find you can kind of now just do it a little bit on the fly, which is what we're going for. So, first of all, remember with the using open chords, open strings if you need to get to the chord in time. Not hitting them purposely. You want to make those notes come out. They're not notes to come out. They're just a little bit of an excuse bridge to get you to the next chord. And has the effect of adding a nice lazy feel to it all. Secondly, make sure your chords, your strum is not inhibited by having to, by having to avoid strings. Make sure you've got the mute there like that. So these are just things to set up as you practice your strum routine. Also, the palm muting. You can practice that willy-nilly as you do the rest. So if you're practicing this, try this. Try getting your palm in the right spot and like that. If you get really good at that and you want to do something really cool, practice at certain points letting your palm off the string. So the difference between, obviously there's a difference when you have your palm on the strings and off at certain points. So you can all I'm doing is like that. Some of the notes are muted, some of them aren't. And you can get that cool sort of thing happening. And redundancy. Make sure you practice your patterns until you're stupidly good at them. You can carry on a conversation with someone. That's what you want. Then your patterns become automatic pilot in your brain. And what that means is you can sing. That's the way to getting towards singing and playing guitar. Have the guitar on automatic pilot so you can sing. You're not thinking about how to create the rhythm just comes out. And also that's where you want in terms of being able to change strums on chords to different patterns, to just hear the groove in your head, all that sort of thing. Redundancy is key. So stick with the practice. Any comments you have, any questions, put them down below. This won't be the last of my strumming videos. The next one might cover some even more advanced stuff, or if any of this needs clarifying, it might be a tangent off to explain something better or what have you. But leave your comments and let me know. It's been fun. I'll see you soon.